Ready?
Yep.
Yeah. I guess I don't want it to be only dark and only like sad. I want it to be like celebrations of life, celebrations of being present. I approach paintings through a non-dualistic mindset. So just thinking about how two states of existence can exist at one time, and even if they're in contradiction with each other, like preserving a moment, but knowing that that moment is gone. I think about portraiture in that way too, where it's like if I didn't paint, would these people ever be painted? I think about my friends dying all the time, and like if we're lucky, like we'll get to see, well, if we're lucky, we'll get to see if our friends are alive or not by the time that we're old, if we even get to be old, you know. And I think about that all the time, and I've been thinking about it recently, experiencing like mindful death and trying to keep it with us in a way that's not scary, but it, in a way heightens the present moment to a point where it's like I take nothing for granted, and I try to take nothing for granted, and just expressing and feeling gratitude for every present moment. I feel like I can always just return back to what I was calling earlier the paint dungeon, you know? And I mean that in a good way. I love like just locking myself in a room and painting and like thinking about it and finding that flow state of creating. I'm a huge fan of I Spies. So I'll just sit and draw and just look for weird things that I haven't noticed yet. Experiences drive everything. I think about what moments are rare in life and trying to capture that. These ideas will are like time capsules. They're history being painted, and they're important to the people that around at the time and were involved in the making of it, and almost like almost like archaic, kind of like tombs in a way. You know, like that's kind of like the theme of the next show is like a cemetery. It's like headstones of my life, you know, but I still want people to know, like be able to be present within the work, even if that time is gone. Tulsa is one of those places where the more that you put into it, I feel like the more you'll receive. And like the community is very loving and supportive, and it's exciting to be a part of it. I feel like I've seen it grow astronomically. I think it's an emerging art city. I think there's a lot of unique voices that come out of here. And my goal is to just keep building and interacting with that community and seeing how it changes over time. You know, I think it's just the beginning, really. Tulsa 99 years later, it's out in the hallway. I made it into a community fundraiser at the same time, and we raised $4,000 to the Greenwood Cultural Center. I never tried to make a fundraiser ever before. I never tried to like actively grassroots build community and like bring people together through mutual aid. And I was so terrified that it wouldn't work, and then it did, and I was like just ecstatic about that. And so just reminding myself that not working in a vacuum is important, and building community through art is possible and powerful and real. And I want to do that again. I just haven't found the right one that I want to use yet, but I would love to support the Greenwood Cultural Center again and make more fundraisers through painting accessible to our local community, because I really think mutual aid is important and valuable. And so I think that one really pushed my ideas over the edge of what is possible in like enacting change in real situations, not just, you know, 200 years after we're dead. Mock-ups for my mural at Lefties. These exist. These ones did happen. So this is kind of what my idea was before actually doing. This is what I pitched to the owner. And these are all made with highlighters and pens. So these happened. And then, yeah, there's the other one. The first kind of one. And every time I do a mural, I try to map out the space just here so I can see what needs to be done. The Ecstasy of St. Vitus, it's a painting that I debuted at the second or third art house in Tulsa. It's 4x4 foot, and it's kind of like an amalgamation of different influences. The the Ecstasy of Saint Teresa. It's a sculpture in Italy that I really like, that I based the pose off of. And St. Vitus is a club downtown that everyone is really enjoys and has like good experiences in, that I know of. And I I wanted to create like a community time capsule. I think that that really impacted everyone who saw it and had been in the space, because it really drove home the thing that I'm trying to do in all my paintings. But not everyone has been in those spaces and had like a connection to it. And so when they did, it became like just almost this bigger kind of cultural phenomenon that was really exciting to see how everyone reacted and interacted with it. Here's kind of the beginning sketch for the St. Vitus one that I was talking about. I brought this to the club and started drawing from it and just doing these really rough drawings that I would eventually make into the painting. I hear my cat. I try to improve every single time I make new work, and that really, that like pursuit of just being better technically and conceptually, that never ends. It's absolutely endless. Like, you can shoot a perfect arrow every single time, you know, after practicing, but like there's always new milestones to make for art in so many different ways. And so I think that that kind of ceilingless, limitless pursuit, I think, is what keeps me curious and engaged.